In the age when the stars were mapped and the human name was written small among the constellations, the Galactic Empire ruled with numbers. 1,020 species bent knee to its crown of light. Civilizations older than Earth had fallen into its order, their cultures dissected, their resistance archived as case studies in extinction. To the Empire, humanity was a statistical footnote, young, erratic, emotional, barely out of its cradle. The humans called themselves resilient. The Empire called them unrefined biologicals. Their mistake began with curiosity. A research vessel named Eterna 47 crossed Sol space under diplomatic clearance, carrying sociologists, biologists, and the cold arrogance of a civilization that no longer feared gods. Their scanners read the Earth like an open wound: oceans, laughter, radio waves, poetry, violence. They were looking for something called emotional gravity. The Emperor scholars believed it might explain why humans, though insignificant, survived where others perished. They took 5 women.no warships. No declarations. Only a clean, surgical disappearance. 5 lights gone in one night from 5 different continents. To the Empire, it was an experiment. To Earth, it was a wound that would never close. They were taken for observation, not torture, the report said. No physical harm. No intent of violation. The Empire wanted data, not death. But data has never been innocent. In sterile halls of orbital laboratories, under crystal domes reflecting alien suns, the 5 were catalogued, measured, and silenced. They were given code names for efficiency: Echo, Grace, Myra, Jade, and Sol. Each was isolated from the others, their memories filtered, their languages digitized, their dreams recorded as chemical anomalies. When they screamed, the walls absorbed the sound and converted it to graphs. When they prayed, translators reduced their words into syntax trees. The lead observer, a being of silicon and photonic flesh, wrote in the first report, human females exhibit deep-rooted mythological self-defense constructs. Subject Echo's neural pattern resisted dream infiltration via auditory hallucination, resembling folklore structure, old woman in the woods archetype. Recommend genetic cross-reference. They didn't know what they had touched. Across the Milky Way, Earth remained silent. Governments demanded answers, but communication with the Empire meant submission, and submission meant survival. Human colonies whispered among themselves, calling the abduction the taking. A myth began to take shape on the edges of networks, half rumor, half warning. Some said the 5 were chosen. Others said they were cursed. A single phrase spread like infection through digital space: they took daughters of monsters. It began as a joke. It didn't stay one. The Empire's data cores started failing without explanation. Fragments of corrupted code appeared in isolated systems, words in dead Slavic tongues, fragments of old nursery rhymes, and images of a wooden hut with legs. On other servers, encrypted files carried distorted audio, whispering an American voice saying, "Don't look under your bed." The researchers laughed, blamed cross-contamination, and deleted the data. The next morning, their backup sang. Echo stopped responding to commands. Grace laughed in her sleep. Myra's heart rate synchronized with the laboratory lights. Jade began drawing spirals with her own blood, repeating a word no translator could define. Sol simply watched, unblinking, eyes reflecting the security drones. When the lead scientist ordered sedation, every drone in the facility shut down at once. The Empire's arrogance prevented it from fearing what it could not quantify. For 3 weeks, the anomaly spread. Entire research vessels went dark. Systems recorded phantom transmissions, coordinates to places that did not exist. The Emperor's High Council classified the incidents as psychological contagion of primitive mythology. They could not accept the truth. That myth, once observed, had teeth. Inside the observation wing of Eterna 47, Grace's biometric chart spiked. Her dreams had become shared fields of information. a psychic contagion across species. One of the observers, in defiance of protocol, entered her chamber. He returned with his eyes gone white and his voice replaced with a whispering child's tone. "She is awake." No one knew who she was. In the following hours, every system connected to the research network reported untraceable data traffic. The Empire believed it to be cyber sabotage from rival species. They deployed AI purges. The purges deleted the wrong files. They erased the barrier between simulation and subjectivity. The data ghosts began to multiply. The Empire, a civilization of logic and law, began to dream. On the third cycle of anomaly escalation, the ship Eterna 47 vanished from its orbit. The Empire tracked its last known signal to the edge of a black nebula. All that returned was a repeating transmission, static layered with an old Earth lullaby. "Sleep, my child, sleep," it whispered, over and over, until the receivers burned out. 2 days later, in the capital's central archive, the Emperor demanded an explanation. His advisors presented evidence of a cross-quantum infection, a human-origin cognitive virus. But within the fragmented data, analysts discovered a signature, an encryption key structured like an ancient Slavic rune. It carried a name that predated the Empire, predated Earth's modern history. Baba Yaga, the Emperor laughed. Superstition was beneath him. He authorized a purge of all human cultural databases. That night, ships in orbit reported seeing a shadowed figure walking the hull without a suit. Her steps left frost on the metal. 1 by 1, systems began to die. Echo's chamber melted into shadow. Grace's heartbeat synchronized with the main reactor. Myra's body dissolved into code. Jade's blood evaporated into black mist. Sol disappeared completely, leaving only a whisper in the comms. "Mother is angry." Every Empire fleet in proximity to the anomaly was ordered to retreat, but their navigation systems were rewritten mid-flight. Their trajectories bent inward, converging on the Black Nebula. Surveillance footage later recovered showed the fleet entering what looked like a storm of broken code and living memory. Lightning shaped like screaming faces, gravitational waves forming phrases in every known language. No wreckage was ever found. The Empire silenced all records, branding the incident the Vera disappearance. But soldiers talked. Officers whispered that in the nebula's heart, they saw a colossal silhouette, an old woman's hut standing on legs of metal and bone, surrounded by the drifting remnants of their fleet. Still, the Empire denied everything. It wasn't until months later, when the Imperial Academy reviewed biological samples from the Eterna 47 project, that they noticed a genetic anomaly shared by all 5 women. A dormant sequence buried deep in human DNA, activating under extreme trauma. A code hidden inside flesh, resembling a neural AI seed. Not engineered, ancient. Passed down through generations. The scientists labeled it Project Matryoshka. It translated loosely to Mother Within. The file was sealed.